This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning and welcome. I'm really excited. I got Dave Cruz back to me from Web Exercises. As we talked about on the virtual BrainTrust, we kind of went over how important this is going to be for the practitioner nowadays, doing virtual telehealth and doing different types of prescriptions, whether it's exercise or mobility or even stability or even motor control brain. And Dave, you were so kind to, put together an exercise platform that we can hand out after this call. But more importantly, we're going to go in depth on what Web Exercises is, how you can use it, how you can get involved for 30 days for free with free 30, and then more importantly, how your patients can benefit in this time. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Dave, and then we can kind of just go back and forth.
Great, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me back. And so, yeah, it's definitely a time where healthcare professionals are looking for how do I do more virtual consults? How do I do things just digitally? Because we're all trying to figure out this new landscape. So I just wanted to go over kind of some highlights of Web Exercises. I'll show you the patient side. I'll show you what we're doing on the education side. Just kind of give everybody kind of a full 360, and then set you guys up with a free promo code so you guys can start using it for free, no charge for 30 days as we're all dealing with this healthcare crisis. So what you're looking at on the screen is Web Exercises, the main page. You'll be greeted with this chart here, which tells how many active programs you have, how many patients are actually getting and engaging with regards to the feedback. The graph is a little skewed. This is just a demo count, but it'll kind of basically graph how many patients are receiving, engaging, and giving you feedback. And that's where you'll be able to see exact feedback that your patients will be giving you. A quick overview of Web Exercises. The exercise search right here. You can literally put in any sort of topic. You can look for a shoulder issue, look for any sort of type of equipment you want. You can scroll down, all sorts of different type of equipment, for instance, there. And what you'll find is that it'll call up those specific exercises. Shoulder with a TheraBand. There's hundreds of exercises. You can click on any one. You can see photos with descriptions. And there's also a video demo which goes along with it. And this is what will be delivered to the patient, exactly what you're seeing, those photos and descriptions. They'll also have the opportunity to give you feedback and let you know how that program is going. So jumping back to that exercise search page, I can even put in keywords, for instance. I can type in here, I can go, hey, this patient is starting to suffer from sciatica. And I can type in a keyword, for instance. Click that, and again, just recommendations based on some common conditions will populate. And again, photos, video demo for the patients to review. Our exercise search is fairly robust in that we can go to even just different body positions. We have all sorts of different libraries, for instance. We have probably most extensive in the industry with regards to nerve glides. We have pediatrics, pregnancy, geriatrics. How about just some at-home, right now, body weight conditioning, right? Because no one's able to go to the gym, self-included. So this is just going to list a bunch of just body weight type exercises. You can put together routines for your patients to perform. As you saw, different exercise search methods all through here. And so we really try and make it easy to create programs that make it simple for you, saving you time, which takes us to our templates. If I click here, RX protocols, and Sean, stop me if I'm going too fast, or if you have questions or anything.
I think you're doing really good. As Dave's bringing this up, what I find is really useful on this and kind of fun is that you really can give your patient the visual as well as like the verbal. So if you're trying to coach them over telehealth and they're not getting an idea or some type of like program that you're providing them, they don't understand it. Now they can actually click on the video, they can see the movement, and then from there you can see how they're moving in their living room or in their house right now, and you can kind of guide. So hopefully, we always say, like, Dr. Rose always told me, like, if monkey see, monkey do, when you're showing a movement, make sure you can show it because you want to make sure that you have it. So even as a practitioner right now, I think this would be a really big thing for a lot of us to be doing at home, is a lot of these exercises as well. So when you go to the protocols.
Now, the protocols, we have over 75 evidence-based protocols in here to really make it easy. And I'll show you how that is utilized in a moment. But, there's all sorts of different protocols based on condition. You can actually create your own as well. You can take an existing protocol and modify it, or you can just start from scratch and create your own for your specific needs that you want for your practice. A couple other highlights in here. We also have the ability to add your own exercises. There's 3,000-4,000 exercises in our database, but as a clinician, you know, I recognize that all clinicians have a lot of times their own secret sauce, if you will, or special exercise or movement that they'd like the patient to do. Well, that's where the My Exercises is helpful in that you can actually just go in, you can add your own photos, videos, you put the name and so forth of the exercise, and either drop and drag on your computer, or if you log in on your mobile device into your Web Exercises account with an iPad or iPhone or Android, you can take a photo on your camera roll and just upload from there. That's kind of the easiest way to go about it. And then that just becomes your private library, so you can start creating your own specific exercises if we don't happen to have the one you are looking for. But we do have, I mean, an extensive with 3,000-4,000 exercises in the database.
And with that, how space do they have to be able to put their videos? And is there a set limit with the, you know, normal package? Is there a VIP package? Like, how's that work?
Yeah, so you can upload 25 exercises for free as part of your membership. We find that generally is enough. If you know ahead of time, hey, I've got 100 exercises, just let us know. We can work with you. I mean, we're flexible. We just kind of set it as a limit just to start with, just because we don't want the provider logging in and just trying to upload, 500 exercises of their own. But we understand, we can work with you, so just reach out to us. And so let me show you the other thing which we're doing from a patient education and engagement standpoint. We have all sorts of different handouts based on certain conditions. We build these specific for patients. You can hand these out. You can email them to the patient. It's just about their condition. Better educated patient understands their condition, is more likely to be compliant and engage, and that's what we would like to do, is make sure that your patients stay engaged. We also have some 3D video content. Let me touch upon that, and then I'll show you how a program is made. If I go over here and I select education, and now I'm going to hit search, I come up with different conditions where, if I click play, we're starting to create more and more of this content, which is actually narrated 3D video that you can actually send to your patient that talks them through what that condition is. Because again, a better educated patient is going to be more likely to do their exercises, stay compliant, engage, and communicate with you. So we have about...
Dave, can I piggyback off
Pardon
that?
me?
Can I piggyback off this?
Absolutely.
I think it's really important right now to just talk on, basically virtual doctor reports right now, or virtual classrooms with your patients. And just the two things that you just showed with the pamphlets and this 3D video, you can put together a really cool kind of health class right now virtually using GoToMeeting, Zoom, or anything else, to where you can use the information from Web Exercises, especially this, a lot of your patients might be dealing with stuff and they can't physically come see you. Or right now, if you can use this education, you can give them an exercise, which we're going to show you next, and they can feel a difference. The trust is going to go up with you as a practitioner, number one, and hopefully the effectiveness of your care once you do get your hands on them goes up because they're going to be more compliant. I wanted to mention that, Dave.
No, I mean, actually, it's a really good point. I'm glad you did, because you're right. We as providers have to figure out how to maintain that communication with that patient. And you literally could probably do a Zoom care class, spine care class, or whatever it's called in your office, and you pull up Web Exercises and you're showing people, you're clicking on the different exercises and even this video and showing them. Then you can even send this to them as part of their program so they get it a second time. So no, that's a really, really good point you brought up. And so let me go ahead and let me just kind of walk everybody through a program, because I want to show you the patient experience. And Sean, let me grab my charger real quick. Take me 10 seconds, because I don't want my laptop to die. Hold on one second.
No, that would not be good. But for those of you that are looking right now, one of the things that I did when I was in practice full time using Web Exercises is it made accountability really easy for my. And whether you hand it in paper or now they've got the phone, they've got the computer, you can see if they're on, you can see how they're interacting, you can ask questions. It's really a cool environment for the patient to feel like it's almost like gamification. So they're accomplishing a goal that you have set for them. You have expectations for them. They have expectations for themselves in your care plan. And then more importantly, now we can keep track. And even in this virtual world of quarantine, we can start to hold these opportunities to keep our engaged and be able to discuss how we're trying to get them to that next care plan that we're trying to work with them on. So some really neat stuff. All right, all yours, brother.
Perfect. Thank you for that little hiccup there. So let me show everybody how to actually put a patient in. It can be this easy. So I'm going to add a new patient right here. So I'm going to put the first name in and say it's Sean. Great. Okay. Oh, we're going to put your email here. I'll show you a demo account. So the patient email goes here. I'm going to create an RX. And now I have some choices. Do I want to choose from that list of protocols? Do I want to choose from some of my protocols? Or do I want to add from the exercise search? So if I click this, I'm active at home. We just kind of built that. Mm-hmm. Screen share is kind of slowing stuff down a bit, so I apologize. There we go. It loads in some different stretches and exercises that we just kind of put together for a program. If I wanted to remove any of these, for instance, say, you know what, that's too many for that patient, I just go ahead and click let's remove some here. I can change any sets, reps, I can update that. But let's say, hey, that patient also has that shoulder issue, for instance. And again, give it a second because the screen share and probably everybody in the world is on online these days. Yeah. I'm going to say add from exercise search. So I have my existing program, and I have a patient that I was also seen for shoulder issues. So I'm going to go shoulder. I'm going to go down to equipment and say, let's look for that TheraBand again. So I click on TheraBand, and now it's going to call up those exercises based on this search criteria. I hit search, and yep, let's see some of my shoulder exercises. They need a couple of your standard basic rotator cuff one, and then this scapulary track, for instance. Now I go back and say, yes, return to RX. This is what I want. Here's my new ones will be added in. Great. Continue. Going to give me one last look, and I'm going to say finish. Now, if they were in my office, I could choose to print these in 1, 2, or 4 exercises per page. We do have to take records and notes though. So if I go and click copy paste, it copies it to my clipboard, and now I can go to any EMR or any document for that matter, and I can now in 2 clicks copy and paste those notes, what exercise it was, sets, reps, and so forth. So that's
a new feature that I have when I was using this. So I think that's really amazing.
I like to say, by clinicians, for clinicians, as we build web exercises, because practicing for 20 years, I know the pain points. It's like, what are those challenges? And definitely notes are. So this was suggested by a user, and we got, wow, that's actually a really good suggestion. So we worked through it, and 2 clicks, you can put the notes in any document. Let me get rid of that. And so let me show you the patient side now. You've created a program, and now you email this out to the patient. So if I'm the patient, they'll get an email, or they can log in through a unique patient portal. So let me go and log in. I'm going to wear my patient hat right now at gmail.com. And then I think that's it. So whether you're on an phone, iPhone, Android, tablet, computer, it does not matter. This platform will work. So your patients will be able to get a program that they can see and view. They can start the program. They're going through this. If there's any questions, they go, God, I can't quite remember how to do that. They go, watch the video. Got it, okay? Now, really important, you gave them recommendations. That's why they need to let you know how many repetitions they did for each recommended set. if they had pain or not. So they just continue on, go to the next program, go to the next exercise. Let's, for instance, say, oh, again, how many sets? Maybe they start doing the exercise and they go, ooh, that's starting to hurt. I had a little bit of pain. Okay, I go next. All this gets reported back to you. I can do this one okay, so I did this at the reps that you recommended, and maybe we get to an exercise that we can't do it. Let me show you what happens there. I can go next. If it happens to be a side plank, there's a timer. If this is a timed exercise, so I start it, and it's basically going to count down so that patients can follow along. And maybe they start doing this and they go, ooh, that shoulder really hurts. I can't do this. That kind of hurt a bit, and I need to skip this one. Well, it's going to ask exactly why, and you're going to see this.
Now that's a really cool feature for those of you at home, because now you can start to modify without seeing the patient. Number one, we always say, like, don't exercise into pain. Like, if there's pain, then we need to look at it. And so that's a really, really good feature for me as a practitioner, because now no matter where I'm at in the world, whether I'm traveling, I can see what my patients are saying, and they're actually like being able to communicate with me through this process.
Exactly, and that was the goal, really kind of reaching out in the sense of being able to keep that touch point with your patients. So again, we just kind of follow through. They would do this one, and then if this is the last one, they're done. So it's going to ask one more time overall, how was it? And they say, well, it wasn't bad. I'm the patient, but I'm going to say, you know, that exercise number, I think it was 3, was painful.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to record this as the patient. That gets submitted back to me as the provider. Okay. So now as a provider, I go, okay, how are my patients doing? I'm going to go back to the RX management, which is right here, our main screen with all of our patients listed. On that particular program, I was the patient. So you see feedback. I just did this a second ago. I click on this, and then this is the one I just did a second ago. Number 3 was painful. Here are your recommendations. Here's what they actually did right here. So now I can print this if needed. I can put in their chart, but I can really see what that level of engagement was. Are they doing the exercises? Did they have problems? So it gives me a reason to reach out and go, hey, that patient had pain. I need to reach out to them, communicate with them. And that's where, if I circle back to that graph I was talking about right here, this gives you a snapshot of how many people are logging in, how many people are giving you feedback, and so forth. So that's why we really try and hopefully provide providers out there a 360 approach. If we're not going through these challenging times and patients are coming in your office, great, give them printed handouts, but you still want to give them home care and want to know what they're doing when they walk out that door until they come in next. And now we need to, given the current situation. So that allows that touch point.
Awesome. And there's obviously this side of it. Let's talk a little bit about the academy. How they can, take some, continuing ed right now if they want to learn. Like, there's a lot of practitioners out there with time on their hands. How do they sign into the academy? How do they get involved? Can we show some of the courses that are on there right now, and then kind of from there?
Absolutely. So if we just go to our main site, we have 2 options. We have both the education side or the exercise prescription side. For those people that want to get started on the exercise prescription side, let me show you what to do. If you just click on pricing, and now I'll give you the promo code. You go to trial, click trial, fill all the information out. You're going to put in free 30. Apply it, and it's going to wipe that to 0. So you're not going to be charged for 30 days. If you get in there, you love it, hopefully, then you'll be able to keep using it either on a monthly or annual basis. And I'm sure we'll have some sort of special offer just given, what everybody's going through. So if you don't, find that you're really not utilizing it, then just cancel. Just cancel within 30 days. So this will just allow everybody to get in and start trying it. So jumping to the academy on the main website, if we click on learn, this takes us to our education site. So our providers on Web Exercises are chiropractors, physical therapists, athletic trainers, strength conditioning, acupuncture, massage therapists, pretty much across the board, people that are hands-on in the trenches working with patients. And so our platform reflects that in the sense that we have courses for CE and non-CE. Some are free. We have a couple great courses right now that are free just on what's going on with coronavirus and staying healthy. You can search for CE or non-CE. You can search ones that are based on your profession. And so all of these can be taken anytime, any place, anywhere. It's all on demand. And then again, if you find that you're having a little extra time, you want to beef up on some different topics, please have a look. There's courses that are really inexpensive for just non-CE for our courses. A lot of them are just $3-4. So really not much at all overall. And we try and get some of the best instructors providing the great education. And I want to invite everybody, I just thought about this. We hold webinars every week. And tomorrow's webinar, it's free. So with Dr. Perry Nicholson, you just go to our blog, click on this, just go and register. And it's a free webinar. So we're doing these weekly now just because there's such a need for more and more just great information online. So that's one of the free webinars, and that'll be recorded if you're with patients and need to see at a different time. That will go on our education site.
And if you haven't listened to Perry, he's a phenomenal instructor. You will love, what he's teaching, and you can get a lot out of it. And just seeing some of the names that are on here, these are some amazing practitioners, and from all over the board, whether it's DC, PT, AT. I've gone through this, and so what I want to encourage you though is if you're out there and you've got an idea or you've got a pattern or something that you do in your clinic, and you want to put together a course, like Dave is willing to host those on the site, making sure that it definitely fits within the model. But, this is an opportunity for you to step up. This is an opportunity for you to become a leader within the profession that you're in. And here's a platform now virtually that you can get involved with. And then also, if you want to do a webinar with him, just send your information and probably a title of the topic that you want to do and your presentation. And, you've got this new cool platform to help a lot of people.
Yep, absolutely. Because really, the reason we want to go across industry is because we all bring a specialty. I mean, chiros, PTs, ATCs, trainers, everybody has a specialty. And what my goal with the academy was just have a great learning environment. Let's forget about these initials and territories and so forth. Let's make it about the patients and really kind of share the knowledge, if you will, because we can all bring a good skill set, a good knowledge base that I think we can all learn from, and no matter what those initials are behind your name.
No, I love that. Well, Dave, I'm really grateful that you obviously took the time this morning. I think that we definitely showed what we can do with web exercises that practitioner wants to. And then if say you're just an average person that's not a practitioner, can they use the site? Can they get involved with the site? Can they get programs without having a practitioner?
That's where we've been toying around with the patient's direct side. And one of our foundations from Web Exercise, one of our core pillars is exercises prescription is best coming from a healthcare professional, because the right exercises based on the right condition that you've assessed for is going to get the right results. And so we have some things in the pipeline that'll be a little bit more towards consumers. The providers will still be tied into that. But we really don't have anything specific for just the general public, because you know what? You guys are experts. You have a relationship with your patients. And I think it's our responsibility to give the patients those exercises based on what their condition is. And that needs expertise. And that's kind of more of one of our core pillars, if you will, and going back to by clinicians for clinicians. In that we want to build this from a clinical standpoint, make it easy to then share with your patients.
Cool. And I wanted to make sure that point was made, just so that way, if you are somebody that's watching this that, is going through pain or having discomfort in quarantine and you're wanting to improve, still seeing a practitioner during this time is super, super important, because, being able to be assessed and find out what exactly is going on, because a lot of the time the side of the pain or the problem isn't actually where it's coming from. So, if you are watching this and you're going through something right now in quarantine, you want to move better, highly recommend that you reach out to a local movement expert or somebody who can assess you, whether it's a PT, chiro, massage therapist, somebody who can actually break out what you're going through, because these are essential healthcare providers. So, they are open. If they are, there's somebody in your community that can be out there to help you. And if you're a practitioner, like you said, free 30, FREE 30. It's going to get you 30 days free with web exercises. And more importantly, hopefully we can continue to, put out great content, through all of our different channels. And then more importantly, help out the patient.
Yep. No. Well said. Yeah. So if anybody, reach out to us if they have any questions at all. Be happy to answer them for you.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. And I appreciate everything you do at Web Exercises. And let's continue putting out some cool stuff. For those of you that are watching, we're going to have a script that he's going to send over to me. I'll print. I'll make sure it's attached. There's a link to it. You can use that right now to send out to anybody that that needs to move a little bit better in home during this quarantine, and we'll go from there. Thanks, brother.
Hey, thank you.